Hello? Hey, Jesse, how's it going, man?
It's pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, sweet.
All right, nice. Do you have your resume completed yet?
Yeah, I just gotta go find it. I think it's in my drive.
Okay, cool. Now, as long as you've done it, you're good because you can actually use this. I just want to make sure that anybody who's participating today can go out and do and really kind of practice, what we're preaching. So,
All right.
so we'll wait another minute and then we will get started. Hey, do you have the filters for applying for jobs on Indeed?
I probably remember them offhand.
Okay, I'm going to send them to you
I've
again.
gotten them a couple times.
Hey, Daniel, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you?
Going pretty good. All right, so I'm going to find a place where I can post these. All right, and you have your resume done, right, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm just doing a couple of small changes, but not, most of all the major stuff's done.
All right, cool. All right, so I was just telling Jesse, I'm going to share with you guys the filters we use for looking for jobs in Indeed.
Okay, cool.
All right. Hang on one sec. Okay. Hey, what's up, Anthony? All right. Hey, Daniel, what's your last name?
Pollock should be under.
Oh, okay. All right, Daniel Pollock. All right, cool. Okay, so the big takeaway, and I think with YouTube Live, guys, you're gonna have to unmute yourselves, to talk or to say something. The really big takeaway from today is going to be the right way to apply for jobs so that people actually want to contact you back. I think that's one of the biggest issues people have. Does everybody here kind of feel like sometimes we're just sort of like applying into like a black hole?
Yeah.
And you're just sending stuff down there, and it honestly, for like a lot, I think it's a pretty deserved feeling and reputation, when it comes to applying. So For the next 4 or 5 months, we're going to take our programming hats off, and we are all now salespeople. So everybody who's in here today is basically deputized as a salesperson, or yourself. Oh, a couple of things salespeople never ever do, and I'm kind of serious about getting in that mindset for applying, because you know what we're doing when we apply for a job, guys, is we're asking somebody to spend anywhere from $75,000 to $100,000 on a product. Okay, and that product is us, which means we need to make sure they feel comfortable and feel like dropping a massive amount of money like that is worth their time. So what we do have, which is great, is a really unique skill that people will pay a lot of money for because it's fairly unique across the work environment, okay? However, that does not mean, though, that we should go out and just, you know, feature list what we have to offer. So what I think a lot of people do when they apply, right, is the steps they take. They will find a job. They'll submit their resume. Normally, the cover letter will be anywhere from like 5 paragraphs to like 2 pages long, talking about what a great person they are. And then that's it. That is the last we hear from that job, and we don't get anything back. And we'll do that like 50, 60, 70, 100 times. Anthony, Daniel, and Jesse, after today, we will no longer be applying like that. That will be the last way that we... what I would like, okay, from everybody on here is going to be 5 applications a day going forward, at least 5 days a week, and you can chop those up however you want. Never apply through the bulk Indeed job search. Like, you can apply to hundreds of jobs at once, and that doesn't work out for pretty obvious reasons, since it's not what a salesperson would do. And it should be kind of stressful. You know, it should take a lot of time to properly apply through adding value, because that's what salespeople do. Salespeople find out what somebody wants, and then they make sure that they're in a position to give whatever that is to that person. All right, and that's what we're going to be doing. That's what I'm going to teach you today. Has anybody here been in sales before?
No, I haven't.
Jesse, no.
Yes,
Daniel, how about you? Or is it Anthony who was talking just a second ago?
No, that was Daniel. Danny.
All right, cool. So you've been in sales, right, Daniel?
I'm not. No.
Oh, no? Okay. Anthony, you've been in sales?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Anthony, so you've been in sales. What kind of sales did you do?
I work for AT&T and telecommunications.
Could you be a little bit more specific? That's like $1 trillion industry.
Yeah, essentially what I do is whenever you come into the store, obviously people always come in for upgrades. So that's what AT&T is based on. But when you come into the store, we try to make sure that you leave with more than just your cell phone. We try to make sure you leave with accessories, home services, internet, TV, home phone, accessories, tablets.
All right, cool. And when you were doing that, did you, A, kind of blurt out as they were walking through exactly everything you guys have to offer and then say it's great? Or did you ask a bunch of questions to see what they needed, wanted, or you could get in?
We ask a bunch of open-ended questions.
Open-ended questions. Awesome. Like a conversation. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So that's the first step, okay? The first step to adding value, guys, when you're applying for jobs, and it sounds like a silly thing to say, but I swear this is so important. You need to find out what they want, okay? So everybody write that down, please, real quick. I assume everybody has their Google Docs or a pad and pen.
Mm-hmm.
So write this down, please, okay?
Of course.
You need to identify what they want. Now, here's the thing, okay, and we're going to do a dry run today, too, at the end of this, so you understand what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. A lot of times when we'll look at the actual job ad itself, you know, we'll see like, oh, they want a front-end engineer. Okay, they want somebody who knows Angular, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And we're like, perfect, I know all that stuff. But here's the thing, okay? They don't actually want a front-end engineer. I mean, they do, right? But they want a front-end engineer because they have a very specific problem. And I have no idea what it is, and neither do you. And that's what makes applying for a job so difficult if you don't go into it with a sales-minded attitude. So Anthony was right. So the first thing we should be doing is, asking open-ended questions, figure out why they would want a front-end engineer. So, when the CEO of a company is like, okay, we need to go hire somebody for this position, they're thinking a couple things. They're thinking either A, we need to bring in some more money. So we need a front-end engineer to make our app more attractive, and we get more referrals, and people will use it more often. Or they're thinking we need a front-end engineer because we need to save more money by keeping our clients on our site longer. Okay. Or they're thinking we need a front-end engineer because we were doing the redesign, and my God, the person we hired is a huge asshole. So there's so many different reasons that somebody would actually want a front-end engineer. And the very first thing we need to do when we're applying to a job is to find out why. What is the specific reason they're actually hiring for this position? And it's kind of hard to do that, right? It's not like the easiest thing in the world, but there are several things we're going to go over today explaining how you actually get that done. Okay, so that's step one. Hey, what's going on, Matt?
Hey, what's up, bud?
Hey, have you ever been in sales before?
I don't know. That's a broad topic.
Okay, so what we're talking about today is applying by adding value to your application.
Right.
And so basically, while everybody's applying for a job, even though you all should still be building projects and pushing to GitHub daily, we're all really salespeople at this point from here on out.
Okay.
Until we get the first job. Mm-hmm. Once we get the first job, we can become programmers again. But our primary responsibility is sales for ourselves until that happens. So what we were talking about and getting into is that when a company puts out a job ad, there's a very specific reason that they're looking for a programmer. It could be because they want to save money. It could be because they want to make money. It could be because the person they hired was a huge ass and they had to get rid of them, and now they're kind of in a bind. There's a million different reasons. But there are two really big ones, though, that cover like 90%. And please write this down, too. Companies are generally hiring to either A, make more money, or B, save more money. Every time. It's very rare that there is something that happens outside of that for a business. This does not, of course, apply to like nonprofits, but so either to make money or to save money. So when we go in and we go to apply, we need to do a couple things, okay? We need to ask some questions to figure out exactly what the heck is going on with this company. And if we're applying for like 5 jobs a day, we kind of have a limited time frame to where we can get these answers. So we have to get them quickly. So here's where we get them from, okay? Yelp, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and basic Google searches work as well. So Yelp, Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and Google searches. And here's why these are pretty key and pretty important, okay? And I'm going to send everybody a video on LinkedIn during this as well, so you can understand the LinkedIn one a bit better. But Glassdoor, does everybody here know what Glassdoor is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Okay, cool.
It's
So
like employees.
Glassdoor,
I don't know, just go for it.
yeah, it's kind of like Yelp for kind kind of like Yelp for people who used to work at a company, right? So it's like Yelp for HR almost. That means, though, what's so great about it is companies will go on and just complain about the companies that they were working for.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to figure out what's inconsistent and what is broken inside of a company. So here is Glassdoor's. So this is Glassdoor. All right, next is Yelp. Yelp is another great place to find out when you're applying if a company's product or process is broken. And believe me, if a company has a bad Yelp review, they're very aware of it. They're aware of the broken process or product. I guess unless they're a collections company, in which case they don't care. But for our purposes, we're probably not going to go work for collections companies. So. And then last but not least is LinkedIn. Now, does anybody know why I would suggest LinkedIn as a place to go find out its help with?
Because you can seek out people who work for that company.
Exactly, 100%. There are a couple of really amazing and awesome things you can do when you go into LinkedIn. That's a perfect answer, Jesse. You can find engineers, you can find salespeople, you can find anybody in LinkedIn that works inside a company, direct message them, find out what their email is, and actually ask them what they love, what they don't like inside the company, what they're hiring for. And you guys would be shocked how many people would be more than happy to talk about intimate knowledge of the businesses they work for. Everybody wants to be heard. Who here hates being heard? Nobody. We love it, right? We love to be heard. We love to be known. We love to help. We love to give advice. People will never have a problem talking about that. Do you guys know who the best people to contact if you want an overall kind of view of the business and company and what people could help out with? What position?
Sales?
Yeah, that's a great answer. That is perfect. The salespeople. Salespeople are naturally helpful, else they probably wouldn't have that job. They're almost always willing to talk to people, and most salespeople I know are pretty big people pleasers. So they really want to help. They really want to be able to get in there and show people they know in-depth stuff that they can help you figure out what's wrong with the processes or with the product, and it will give you a massive, massive leg up. Okay, so the first part of what we're going to be doing is finding out how we can be helpful, where we can add value. I want everybody to write that down. That's really, really important. Add value. That's the entire point of this. If you cannot add value when you're applying, when you're first applying, then you will be just another face in a sea of faces, only have less work experience. So that's really not a great trait. However, if you can add value and you can add the correct value, I can guarantee you your lack of work experience will fade away into the background, because now somebody who can add value is a very valuable person. Most people, guys, do not add value. Most people go out kind of with an open palm begging for a job, and as a business owner, that is not productive. That is difficult. That's just another problem we have to deal with on a daily basis. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the person going in, asking questions, figuring out what they need, and bringing solutions. A really, really good example of a missed opportunity I saw one time. He's very successful now, so it's not a biggie, but we had a student that was applying to an eyewear store, okay? It's like an e-commerce store. They had offices up in Marin. So they sold really, really stylish glasses online. And I don't know if anybody here wears glasses or has ever purchased glasses online, but there's a really, really, I just realized I'm not sharing video right now. There's a really, really weird process for purchasing glasses online. You have to take a piece of paper, hold it in front of a mirror 3 feet back, and then slowly move your face towards it. And then when a certain line lines up with your eyes, you know what size your glasses are. I can't even imagine how many sales have been blown by this weird arcane process. I assume quite a bit. So I talked to him, I was like, hey, look, man, you know JavaScript. You can hook up to the API in your camera. Why don't you just, put fake glasses on the screen and people can move their face closer to them, and when it lines up, bam, the glass size. They don't have to print anything out, which is great because I don't own a printer. They don't have to walk away from their computer. They can just buy the glasses, size them, and they're done. He did not do it. He just applied. He never got a call back. I can guarantee you, if you do this and you add value, he would have gotten a call back. Conversely, on the opposite spectrum, we had another student that was looking for a job against several other Codify alums, and he actually asked the CTO what he personally could do to make his life easier, and specifically what they were looking for. The CTO told him everything. He then built his cover letter. He redid his resume. His initial phone offering, all were based around what the CTO told him. All because he asked a couple questions, trying to think of how he could bring value to that CTO. And that's a great point too. Most people who own companies, guys, most officers in companies, they don't really get asked how people can help them, which is really weird to me because they're normally doing a lot of heavy lifting. And we never think to ask. You always assume a VP or an executive kind of has everything under control, but they really don't. The HR person, they have no idea what's going on more than anybody else. So ask. Ask them what you can do to help. Ask them what you can do to bring value. Ask them why they're having the job. Ask them what you want to ask them. What's broken? What are they trying to build? And then you can craft your entire message around that when you apply. Call it as a customer. But you need to do, these are, and as weird as this sounds, guys, like most B2B sales people, where I was before I became a programmer, this is what they're doing. This is what you do to get appointments. This is what you do to understand the company that you want to work with. These are very common steps. So we need to ask. We need to the first step is just figuring out what the heck is going on with this company and how we can bring the most value to them. Because if you can show that, you got a foot in the door, you can move on to the interview portion. If all you do is list your skills, you're just like everybody else. Maybe with a slightly wittier cover letter, but just like everybody else. And believe me, if you want to get noticed, you have to stand out. Don't be afraid to make noise inside the company. If the CTO is talking about, this it's so weird. I just interviewed this weird French guy. It was pretty funny, a couple minutes ago. And an engineer's like, holy shit, I just had a call with a French guy a week ago, and he wants to know a lot about the product. Then Jesse, you're probably going to get a phone call for an interview. Jesse's the French guy. He's from France. I think I muted his thing.
I'm here.
Yeah. So it's really important that you can make noise inside a company. Okay, so let's review this real quick, and then I'll post the LinkedIn stuff. The first thing we have to do when we apply is add value. But how? How do we find out what value we have to add? Who wants to take this one?
You ask someone within the company what you can do to make their life better, or ask what's broken and determine what needs to be built.
Perfect. Yes, correct. Are there places we can go that will normally provide information if something's broken?
Yelp.
Glassdoor, LinkedIn, Google search.
Correct. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. And when we're applying, what is the purpose of our application? What are we trying to show we can do in that application?
Bring the most value to the company.
Yes, exactly. Bring value, add value. If I ever asked to look over somebody's application, I really don't want to just see, the filled out form, the basic cover letter and a resume. There's got to be some way you're bringing value through your past experience or by figuring out what they need and just parroting it. You know what's really crazy? So when I was really, really young, I did really large corporate sales for a service firm. And we used to sell to billion-dollar companies, massive developers. So we used to take them out to lunch. And I always had this thing I used to do where I would ask them at the beginning of the lunch what they were looking for. And I was like, look, why are you even here with us? You already have a service provider. We would normally take business from our competitors. Please tell me the same thing. And I always be like, well, we don't like them for this reason. Their prices are too high. The customers hate them. And then at the end of the lunch, I would literally repeat back to them what they told me. I'd always be like, that's, it sucks. But we always make sure that we're affordable. We always make sure the customers love us. Whatever they said they needed help with, I would just repeat that back to them. And they were always amazed. Their minds are always blown. Oh my God, this is perfect. This is exactly what we want to have happen. And they would normally hire us within the week. I was always worried one day I was just going to get caught. And they're just like, wait a second, you just repeated what I said back to me. But guys, if somebody puts out a position, it's because they want it filled. If it's not filled, somebody's hassling them. People want to have somebody come in, add value, and save them. Okay? But it was really important that I asked those questions. Had I not asked those questions, I have no idea how it would have gone. If I had just no idea what they wanted, I'm not sure how exactly I would have gone about getting their business. But it was a pretty important life lesson. So. A couple of months ago, I did this, and somebody texted me saying they felt like they had no value to offer. Does everybody here feel like they have value they can bring to a company? Everybody feel like they can think, they can critically think, they can problem solve?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Anthony, Daniel, Jesse,
Yes.
You guys are good? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all we're talking about when we're saying value too, guys. It's nothing too insane. It's nothing too crazy. It's really just solving their problems. They just want their problem solved more than anything. So, all right. I think at this point, does everybody have the job filters I sent? Matt, did you get those?
Was that something that I filled out before, or was that the thing that you just sent out the other day?
I honestly don't know if I sent them out the other day. Let me send you them just in case.
Okay.
Download as a PDF. All right. So everybody take a look at the job filters real quick, and let's search for some jobs in San Francisco. Using the specific job filters.
Okay.
All right, great. And then everybody go to the Silva Gates construction. It should be one of the first ones that pops up. It's in Dublin, California. Everybody just give me a heads up when you're there.
I'm sorry, was this sent through Slack or through a message? I'm kind of lost.
Oh, sure, no problem, man. So I just sent you some job filters through Slack. It should have just been a PDF document, literally says job filters.
Gotcha, give me 1 second.
It's a lot darker in this room than I thought. Jeez, hang on 1 second, guys. So when you go to Indeed.com, you're going to go to Advanced Job Search. It's right under the Find Jobs button. And that is where you will find the specific jobs we were talking about. Let me share my screen so you can see. So you're going to go to Indeed.com, Advanced Job Search, and fill out this form exactly like it says in the PDF. If anybody has any questions about where they should be putting something or what they should be putting in, please let me know. When I fill in this form, I normally just copy and paste it. So it should look like this when you're done. At least one of these words. With none of these words. And then full-time. You guys don't have to do full-time if you don't want to. And then exclude staffing agencies. And I would exclude staffing agencies because those are a pain in the ass to deal with. You're going to need to bring that mile radius in a little bit to 25. Jeez. And then here is the one we're actually going to be taking a look at. everybody checks their messages, they should see a message from me that lists the link to the De Silva Construction Company Indeed page. All right, is everybody on that page?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, perfect. Anybody not on the page, speak up real quick.
I had it and then I lost it.
Yeah, I can't find it anymore.
No, no problem.
Oh, I got it.
All right, perfect. So we should be right here, De Silva Gates Construction, Dublin, California. Okay, let's look over the job real quick. We are all way more than qualified to work this one. Proficient with HTML and JavaScript, UI design patterns, solid understanding of full web technology. This is a great indicator that a non-programmer is writing this out because that makes no sense, the sentence right here. Or really UI design patterns. 2 to 4 years of web development experience, that's fine. Experience with SEO from a WordPress and Workspace. All right, perfect. Everybody feels like they could confidently apply for this job?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So, where we're going to go to find out where we can add value. I just went right to the website, and this is what came up, fellas.
Shit.
Oh,
The last time this was worked on was 2009, a full decade ago. Now, I'm a business owner, I'm a salesperson, so my first thought is to go to money. But earlier, we actually talked about the 2 things every company is trying to do. Does anybody remember what those are?
Add value?
Make more money and save money.
That's right, make money and save money. Adding value is our job.
Yeah, right.
They either want to make money, they want to save money. How much money do you think these guys are making with this?
No money.
Yeah, not a lot of...
Not enough.
Yeah, not a lot of money. I don't even... Jeez, oh, sales and scheduling is... You can't even do anything with it. Okay, so... Anybody here think they can add value to this company?
Yes.
All right, so if we are in a value-adding mood and we come across this website, and let's say we are up against 10 other people for this job. 9 people have sent in their resumes. They have sent in a cover letter that says something like, "Dear Sir or Madam, I read your thing. Here's my backstory." The guy didn't read it. And then maybe at the bottom, they wrote they think they can help, but they're not very specific. What could we do instead to add value to a company like this?
Probably take their website, slightly rebuild it, add some touch-ups to it.
Right. So in the application process, and that's exactly what we want to pitch, right? So, and here's the tricky part. Okay, this is kind of the tricky part when you're adding value and dealing with a company. Okay, you're never actually selling what it is that we're building. Okay, what we're actually selling is whatever it is that person wants, and what we build just actually normally happens to create this. Okay, so if I was the one who saw this and I was like, all right, if I was applying for this, the first thing I would do to add value, to show them I can make money, is send in a really, really basic cover letter and a resume attached to it, maybe, that says something along the lines of, hey, CEO's name, I came across your job ad, I saw the website, I did some brainstorming, I think I know a few ways I can help you immediately increase the number of clients you bring on. Do you have time to do an interview where I can where I can share this with you? So all of a sudden, guys, and I really am hoping I'm bringing this home, okay? All of a sudden, you went from being somebody that 9 out of 10 people who were coming with their hands out saying, I hope you give me money because you like my skills enough, to being an expert that has some ideas you can pitch him on ways that you can easily get him more clients by redesigning the website. I can't see everybody's face. Normally I do this live, so I assume everybody's face is pretty shocked right now at this revelation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty straightforward.
Okay, cool.
You assume correctly.
All right, so do we all see the massive difference that that would make?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So let's all apply to this real quick, actually. Are we able to apply outside of Indeed? I really hate applying inside of Indeed. I prefer if we don't do it that way. Let's see if they're on LinkedIn. So for me, guys, I would apply in Indeed. I wouldn't want to be part of the masses when it comes to sales. You really want to be outside of that, kind of doing your own thing. So let's see if they're on LinkedIn, if we can get a hold. Oh, great. DeSilva's big. They're huge. They're probably like a B2B construction firm. Okay. So DeSilva Gates is pretty big. If we do a quick LinkedIn search of the company, everybody do that real quick for me, please. Oh, hey, man, I was just telling everybody to look at to do a quick
Oh, yeah,
search.
sorry. I had to bail out and get some water real quick.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so everybody do a quick look up of DeSilva Gates Construction in LinkedIn. Huh. I guess a lot of people in mails for some reason. I must be connected to them somehow. It's weird. Okay. So this is what I'd like to see happen. We're going to give you guys some homework that I would like, hopefully, the results on by Wednesday, which would be nice. I would like everybody here to please apply for the DeSilva construction position, but do it in a way where you are adding value. Do not do it exactly like I said, because we can't all go in saying the same exact thing. So this is what I would like, okay? Apply for the job, adding value. Contact somebody inside of DeSilva Construction asking why they're hiring for this position. And then I would like to review this so we can make adjustments for the next time on Wednesday. Or send it in so I can at least take a look at it. And we can see what we can do better next time. Because your first couple times are going to be weird. That's going to feel weird doing it. If it were me, I would go so far as to call the person I want to get a hold of. I wouldn't even email them. I would just get them on the phone. Because you are asking for like $75,000 to $100,000, so you should really know what's going on. And I know phone conversations are very awkward for people most of the time, but I have really good news about that. And that is, if it's awkward for you, it's awkward for the other programmers. And I guarantee you the other programmers don't have salespeople coaching them on how to get to the sale for yourself, which means you'll be the only guy doing it. And that's what you want. You want to be the only one doing something pretty exceptional. All right, so let me put in here what we're going to be doing. By Wednesday. Let me put the web role in there, actually. All right, now, the point of this exercise, guys, is not to get a job at DeSilva Gates Construction, okay? If you do, awesome. I mean, if you do this, there's actually a better than a chance one of you actually may get brought in for an in-person interview. The point of this is just to figure out how it works in kind of like a safe space environment, okay? Okay, cool. I couldn't tell if you went to go get more water, if you were so upset by this, Matt, you just walked out of the room.
Picking up my notebook.
All right, cool. Now, Anthony, Daniel, Jesse, and Matt, are there any questions?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
of course you can hit me up on Slack too, but are there any questions while you have Sam Brody staring you in the face right now that you want to know about the process of getting people to talk to you or overcoming the yips associated with doing something way out of our normal comfort zone?
No, sir.
All right, cool. So basically, I think the easiest way to do this, please send me the person you talk to, okay, at DeSilva Gates. And don't stop until you get a hold of somebody. Please don't just like send an email and go, well, I tried. You need results. Sales is all about the results, okay? So I really want you guys getting a hold of somebody. Past the secretary. Get a hold of somebody past entry level into DeSilva Gates. But send me their name. Give me an outline of what your conversation was about, what you found out about DeSilva Gates, and then how you're going to bring value to them. Okay? And we can go over this individually together. And please send it to me by Wednesday. So you have Monday, you have Tuesday, and you've got Wednesday morning, afternoon to get somebody on the phone. Or email, whatever you want to do. Just make sure it happens. All right, that's about it. That's how we build value. We build value by asking what they want and then delivering that. And letting them know we're the guy to do it.
Is value something that we want to put on the resume or more like on the cover letter and the method of contacting? Like, is the resume going to be the same across all applications?
You know, I think that for the first 50, that's okay. I think that as we get more advanced, it makes sense to kind of build things out. If it were me doing it, it would not be. But I've also been in sales for like ever. So I would change it up. If you don't want to for the first 50, you want to get a handle of applying for jobs in general, then that's fine not to. But eventually, yeah, you're gonna
Just I don't
I
have,
would.
I don't have tons of work experience like, in any field.
Oh, sorry, kind of staticky, Jesse.
Not just because I don't have tons of things to put on my resume because I'm only 22. I don't have tons of work experience in any field.
Okay, so I think you're saying you don't have a standardized cover letter. Can you type it real quick, actually, for me? So we can all see. Yeah, that's fine. Nobody does when they start out. Nobody ever has any work experience when they start something new, Jesse. That's totally normal. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. In fact, this actually brings up a really good point, guys. One of the things that always drives me a little nuts, and it's totally understandable because, you know, this is new for everybody. People get really, really hung up on having the perfect resume, the perfect cover letter, you know, the perfect online portfolio. If you bring value, guys, and you convince somebody in a phone call or an email that you're going to make them a lot of money and they're a business owner, none of that shit's going to matter. They are not going to care at all. They will not care less about any of that stuff. In fact, Brian once said something really interesting. So Brian Jennings, one of our mentors, he's also a full-time employee at Grocery Outlet, or who was. He went somewhere else, but he was a full-time employee at Grocery Outlet, and he was pretty senior there, so he started doing a lot of the hiring. And he told me a really interesting story that him and his guys were kind of laughing around a meeting room one time, talking about how when somebody comes in, if they really like them, they will come up with a million reasons why they did a bad job on the whiteboard test that morning when they're hiring, if they really like the guy. If they can convince them that programmer will make them look good, okay? If they really hate that person, like they just can't stand them, they will come up with a million reasons why his perfect whiteboard test is complete trash. So a lot of this stuff we get freaked out about, the resume, the cover letter, all that stuff, none of that really matters. I mean, it does to the point you have to have it, and yeah, you want it to help you weave a narrative that you, Jesse Weber, are a problem solver. But the real big punch above our weight, smack in the face important thing is bringing value to that company and convincing that hiring person that not only are you the safe bet, you're going to make them look amazing because you know how to solve problems coming in to the job. And you can show that by doing really basic research, learning what they need, and then just coming in saying that's what you do as a person. You don't need a lot of experience for that. You really don't. You have to ask questions. You have to listen really, really carefully. I mean, really listen. Get to the meat and bones of what this person is saying, and then you come in with a solution. Problem solvers are people who bring solutions. So don't sweat your resume. Don't sweat your cover letter. I have seen more than my share of people hired than anybody looking at that stuff, okay? Sweat whether you can bring your problem-solving abilities and value to a person's problem. Because if you can do that, none of that shit's going to matter. If you can't do that, you could have the best resume and cover letter in the world, but you're throwing dice up against the wall, hoping nobody with more experience comes in line before you. Does that answer the question? So I know that was kind of a long way to answer it, but I'm really adamant about not freaking out about that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I like it.
All right. Anything else, fellas?
No.
It all sounds
All
really
right.
basic, but I didn't think of it before you told it to me, you know?
Yeah, life's like that, man. You know what I just realized the other day? So I cook with cast iron pots, and they get really fucking hot. And my hand's always really hot when I'm dumping stuff out of them. I just bear through it. And, I realized I should just wrap a towel around my hand after I put on the hot glove, and that won't happen. I've been cooking with this shit for like 10 years, and this just occurred to me like last week. So there's no sales school for some reason. I don't know why. I should start one after I'm done with Codify. I'll start a sales life lesson school for everybody. But
Make a YouTube channel and monetize it.
I've thought about that. But everybody keeps coming at me with questions from my current school. So, but you know, it's a lot of people that I've talked to, guys who have attended this class. I really wish more people would come to this one. It seems like a pretty light one because they're freaking out about their portfolio and their resume and their cover letter. But like Hannah Rose is a good example. It completely changed the way they applied, and I really hope it does the same thing for you guys. And when it changed the way they applied, they all got jobs very, very quickly. They're not out there just begging for them. They're out there bringing solutions to companies getting picked up very, very quickly. I believe she said in her review of my jobs program that it completely changed her life. So I think you guys came to the right one tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, all right, cool, guys. I look forward to seeing what you are going to show me on Wednesday. If you have any questions about it, send me a Slack. I'll answer you back about what you need or where you can go, or if you get stuck, you know what you should be doing.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, later, guys.
Night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Later.